Hello and welcome to the Free Kick Podcast. My name is Todd. Well, welcome to the third place game, a game that neither one of these guys wanted to be in because, in my opinion, both of these guys made a pool to be in the final, and Ricky's game came down just to a crazy last question. Ed's game against Rich was crazy and everything, but I just gave you the two names if you guys weren't paying attention. So welcome back on, like I said, to a game you guys don't want to be a part of, Ed and Ricky.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having us.
I think I'm just here just to make Ed feel really bad and make him finish fourth place.
Will you follow me if you win?
Do I not follow you back?
No.
This is an awkward time to learn this. Thanks for the on-air call-out.
I was going to save it for the end. But
now that you started the huge historic battle between me and Ed that I have never known existed, I guess it's a good time to have this competition, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go.
And now at the end, in about 30 minutes, then one of you guys can really start talking smack and everything. But didn't you call somebody out before, Ed, on the podcast? I can't remember who it was. You're like, yeah, you're not following me, but I'm following you. I don't remember who it was, but I know you did.
It wasn't Ricky, and I don't even want to name drop people.
They do it. Go for it.
Circles with them, and they go to Zoom chats, and they do all the other stuff. And they capo, but they can't follow Union fans back. I follow all Union fans back.
I'm glad you bring this up, Ed, because I feel like there's a lot of people that I've followed in the day that are not famous or anything. They're just local people. We've hung out before, and they just don't follow you back. And it's kind of a dick move. I'm just going to be honest. It's kind of a dick move.
I think we've all been there. I mean, I'm not going to name drop either. I definitely have people I'm like, oh, I thought they would follow the account, but I guess not. But and then it took some people a month later and everything. But, at the end of the day, I guess it doesn't matter. But some people, followers and everything matter. But you know what matters? MLS coming back because today we found out that the players and the ownership group, they agreed to a new CBA that passed. We're recording on Wednesday, June 3rd. The new CBA got ratified. Players will take a 7.5% pay cut for the remainder of the 2020 season. Team and individual bonuses in 2020 will be reduced to a $5 million pool. $1 million of that money will be going to the winner of the Orlando tournament. All terms of the previous agreed CBA have been pushed back by 1 year, so increases for 2021 will now begin in 2022. In addition, the CBA was extended 1 year through the 2025 season. And then, according to the Athletic, the Orlando tournament plans that they received, players will fly to Orlando on June 24th. Teams would train for 2 weeks, and then they would start a 3-game group stage followed by a knockout round. Teams that do not advance to the knockout round would fly back home, and the maximum time teams would be in Orlando is 6 weeks. So I don't know, guys. I mean, for a little bit, it looked like the league was threatening, we're going to lock you guys out if you don't accept our agreement on Wednesday. And by 10:30 this morning, they agreed and everything. So MLS is coming back, and I got to imagine you guys are both excited about that.
I think this conversation between the players and the owners for the last week or so that we've seen as fans through mostly the Athletic, I think the one thing that kind of became evident was that the owners kind of gave them a come to Jesus moment, and the players were like, we'll call you out on that, and then the owners were like, oh no, they called us out on that. So they pretty they went back on some of the things they wanted with that whole conversation point, the force majeure of oh, we're gonna do it based on attendance of 5 teams or something. And it's just it's a weird thing to do it on, because I think we all follow the attendance, or a lot of people follow the attendance numbers of MLS over the last few years, and it's they're saying they have sellouts when I've been to Union games that have had sellouts and they were not sellouts, and I've seen games on TV that were not sellouts, and it's just that's kind of a thing that they can control. So I'm really glad that the players pushed for that. And, I think, especially because I think the NBA agreed to their coming back in July. So the MLS can be either the first or the second between them and NWSL coming back, which really gives them a chance to be in front of all the screens, kind of like the Bundesliga is doing. Like NASCAR has kind of gotten back in the forefront just because they're back. So it's a lot easier for we're looking for something to watch. So it's a lot easier to watch that stuff. And I think that'll be a chance whether they capitalize on it, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the worst case scenario would have been a lockout and everything, because that doesn't do the players any good and it doesn't do the league any good. Like you said, Ricky, I mean, being them and the NWSL, both of them coming back around the same time and everything. I mean, there's new sports going on and everything. So, I mean, your casual soccer fans, your fans not of soccer, are definitely going to tune in and watch and everything. And if it draws in new fans, which I'm expecting it will and everything, it's just going to be better for the league. So I just thought it was just really, really crazy that this potentially went down to a lockout and everything. But they came to an agreement. I'm glad the players called the bluff of the owners. Ed, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's great. The players really negotiated well, and getting the CBA extended for that long is pretty significant. Just because it puts off a lockout for 5 years, maybe. Now, if they have to keep up with the Joneses and keep up with players and keep up with inflations and keep up with salaries, as long as the players don't have a reason to strike. Extending the CBA that long, it's just going to be great for everybody, great for the fans. How many union off seasons have we gone into with a question mark? Like, are they going to get this done? And then they get it done a week before the season starts, and you're sweating the whole time, half the off season. Now you don't have to do that for 5 years, and we get to watch games now, which we talked. Me, you, and Rich talked about that. Living down there kind of sucks. No, there's no way around that. But at least they have something sort of structured that they all agreed upon, and now they can do it.
Yeah, I mean, 6 weeks is a lot better than 8 to 10 weeks that we first heard rumors of and everything. So, and the players are, I mean, we heard that the owners wanted to take like 25% a pay cut at first and everything. Then it went down, I think, to like 17, then 12, and then they got it down to 7.5, which is great and everything for the players and everything, that they're still getting paid and that they're not going to be down in Florida for as long as 8 to 10 weeks, like I said that it was rumored to be. But and you were hitting on, waiting on the union front office to get things done until the last week.
Well, just the players in the league, but
yeah, and
leading on that discussion, when you have season tickets or tickets to the home opener, you don't know if you're going.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to worry. Now you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I guess now the big thing's going to be, are the union going to be active in the transfer market? What is the transfer market going to look like for MLS? But one thing that we know for sure is Cory Burke, according to Jim Curtin and Ernst Tenner, they both want Cory Burke back after his loan expires with St. Pölten over in the Austria Bundesliga. St. Pölten, they have 9 games left with the last game on July 3rd. Cory Burke, if you guys weren't paying attention, on June 2nd, he scored a hat trick in his 4th start for St. Pölten. And diving in a little bit deeper, in 11 games, Cory Burke has scored 11 goals between Portmore United, which is the Jamaican team that he was on loan with, and then St. Pölten. He scored the hat trick in June 2nd. So, I mean, in those 11 games, he had four multiple goals in those games and everything. So it looks like Cory Burke's found his finishing touch and everything. And if you guys haven't seen the video of Cory Burke's highlights in that St. Pölten game, I retweeted it. So go ahead and look at those goals. I know Cory Burke posted it on his Instagram account, but I mean, Cory Burke looked fast and he was clinical in his finishes. He probably should have had 4 goals and everything, but he does everything that the players wanted. He pressured the defense. He slotted the ball away when he needed to and everything, got into good scoring positions and everything. And he's going to be a player that we're going to rely on once we get done this tournament and everything and go into the regular season again.
I think one of the things we can look at with a striker like Cory Burke is strikers often have a thing where it doesn't really matter what level they're playing at. If they're scoring goals, they're scoring goals, and if they continue to score goals. So like a player like him can just come in and maybe the Austrian Bundesliga is, besides Red Bull Salzburg, probably a lower league than MLS. If we're being honest, looking at them like that, besides Salzburg, probably most of them wouldn't do as well over here. And it's just, I think we all looked at Portmore and went, that's a league that Jamaica's not anywhere close. But if he's doing that in Austria, and then he comes in and he's in more of an in-season form, he's a little bit, more able to play with the ball than some of the players that haven't played in 3 months since that LAFC game. That could be a good thing to use as we're going into this, especially in a tournament, because like tournaments are all about let's get hot right now, You don't have a lot of time to like fix mistakes. You don't have a lot of time to be like, oh, hey, we lost the first 2 games. Let's go out there and win the next game. Like the rest of the season that they have now. As a person, whether or not I'm into like having a tournament and having that count towards the regular season and then having a regular season, that's a whole weird situation. And we're not even going to have like an Open Cup this year, which that's a whole nother conversation we can have later. But, it's just really interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that I didn't even think about that you brought up a good point is like Cory Burke, as soon as the season's done over there in Austria, he's coming straight back to the Union and everything, where when the Union signed Andrew Wooten and everything, I think he had like a month or maybe a month and a half after the Bundesliga 2 stopped and everything. And when he came to the Union, he was completely out of shape and everything. And Cory Burke's going to come off of a fresh season in the Austrian Bundesliga, and hopefully he can bring that scoring touch with him.
I think he has potential to come back and make some noise. And it's like you said, and that might still be a thing. We don't really know what we're getting with Wooten. He got a few games at the end of the season like you said, out of shape. He wasn't bad, but you could really sense Shabilko. But when he was missing, you could really, the level just drops off. And Cory Burke, we've seen it. He scores in bunches. He's scored for us in bunches. If he's fit, if they can get him back in the country, hey, get him out there. See what he can do. They're going to have 2 weeks to train. They can work him back into the team. But it's, and they're all still working out with each other. I don't know how limited it is anymore. It seems like it's like they have to be in corners or they can't shoot. I don't know what all the rules are with social distancing and soccer practices.
I think another cool thing that we'll get to see with this is that if MLS follows the recent FIFA guidelines for the rest of this year, where we can have 5 subs like the Bundesliga is doing and like most of the leagues will end up doing, we'll have 2 really good forwards on the bench no matter what. Because between Shabilko, Santos, Burke, and Wooten, who a lot of people have been talking about, Wooten was starting to get to where he was when he was in Germany because of the offseason. So, and then we're not even counting players like Mishi and Galina who can add like a lot of speed off the bench. If we're able to bring on 5 people and we're pressing teams and we're pushing teams, and then all of a sudden you've got 2 new forwards coming onto the field and 2 new midfielders, and like looking at our midfielders playing against LAFC and the potential of 5 people coming onto that team after halftime, that's a scary proposition, especially with someone like Ilsinho.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great point that you bring up with 5 substitutes and everything. I mean, I think there's a lot of things, a lot of people are probably forgetting about that rule and everything. I'm sure, there are a good amount of people watching the Bundesliga and everything. But for the people that aren't and everything, yeah, that is a very good point. And I got to imagine MLS is going to follow the 5 sub rules, especially playing down in Orlando this time of the year where it's blazing hot down there and everything. And I'm sure they're going to take plenty of water breaks and everything. And those 5 subs are going to come in handy very, very fast, I think, for the Union. And out of all the years and everything, I definitely feel good about our depth. I mean, maybe you look at other teams and everything, they might have better players and everything, but I think we have 2 players per position that are really, really good and everything. And so I'm just really, really excited about what the tournament could do for the Union and everything. And I'm just happy that we got MLS back.
The 5 sub rule it changes, a lot of things. And they do have a lot of weapons now off the bench. With Galina, they don't even know. I mean, at least other teams, they don't even have film on that guy yet. He's so young, and everybody knows with Ilsinho. Santos looked great and has looked great. He looks at top form right now. Shabilko is healthy. They do have attacking depth, midfield depth. Ilsinho coming off the bench, or maybe starting now if there's 5 subs. I don't know how that's all going to shake out. But to get games back, but it's like Ricky said. I kind of hope that there's that contingency to build this into the regular season if they end up being able to continue to play, and there's no more Open Cup and all that. So I don't know how they're gonna. I almost want this to be its own thing, and then maybe just have a shorter season. But hey, if we play well in it, then maybe we'll want it. Maybe we'll want it to count. It just remains to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's better than the Suncoast Invitational Trophy that we would live. So.
Yep.
But let's go ahead and go into the game, everybody. And so, like we've been studying the last 14 episodes, we're starting with 5 and 25, which is where the contestants have 5 questions they have to answer in 25 seconds. The clock starts after I read the first question. If a contestant doesn't know the answer, they can say skip, and we can go back to the question if time permits. Each question will be worth 2 points each. And Ricky, we're going to start it off with you, so whenever you're ready.
Okay, let's go.
Here we go. Question number 1 for you. Who is the highest scoring midfielder all time for the Union?
That sounds like a trick question. Maidana.
Who is second all time in goals for a Union defender?
For a defender, Shannon Williams.
What year did the Union finish with 15 ties?
15 ties, 2016.
In 2015, who led the Union in game-winning goals with 2?
Game-winning goals, 2015. Tranquilo Barnett.
What year did the Union sign Chris Albright?
2012.
And you got it right at the buzzer. So you're right. Chris Albright was signed by the Union in 2012. In 2015, who led the Union in game-winning goals with 2? There was 3 players that you could have named, being CJ Sapong, Sebastian Letou, and Vincent Nogueira. What year did the Union finish with 15 ties? That was 2011. Who is second all-time in goals for a Union defender? The answer to that is Jack Elliott with 5. Which is surprising that a defender's only scored 5 goals, but I guess our forwards, all these earlier years and everything, we really didn't score a lot and everything, so I guess it makes sense that Jack Elliott is the second all-time in goals for a Union defender. And then the first question, who is the highest scoring midfielder all-time for the Union? That would be Elsinho with 19.
See, that's what I thought, but I spent the whole time thinking, like, so do we count early Sebastian Letou as a midfielder or not?
Yeah.
And then I was like, Elsinho makes the most sense, but I feel like that's too recency bias. But, well, 2 points is 2 or
Yeah, 2 points
2
is 2
points, right?
Exactly, yep. So, Ed, we're good to you. So, are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Your first question. Who is the second highest scoring midfielder all time for the Union?
Harris Madunia.
Who is the highest scoring defender all time for the Union?
Carlos Valdez.
What year did the Union finish with 12 wins and 12 losses?
2012.
In 2017, who led the Union in game-winning goals with 3?
Bedoya.
When was Connor Casey's first year for the Union?
2013.
You're right. So, you just like Ricky, you both got the last question right, and the next question after that was in 2017, who led the Union in game-winning goals with 3? That was Fafa Pico. What year did the Union finish with 12 wins and 12 losses? That was 2013. Ricky gave you the answer to this second one. Who is the highest scoring defender all time for the Union? That is Shannon Williams with 7. And then who is the second highest?
Williams is defender.
He is.
Did you say midfielder?
Defender. And then the first question was, who is the second highest scoring midfielder all time for the Union? Which would be Roland Alberg with 16.
That makes sense. That does make sense.
So you were both with 2 points and everything. So not bad at all. And Ed, we're going to stay with you for true/false. Again, you guys aren't timed in this. You get 1 point each for the questions, and I'll ask you guys 5 questions each. So here we go. Question number 1 for you, Ed, which is true or false, regular season only. Roland Alberg has more assists than Kasper Schmeichel.
I'm going to say false.
It is indeed false. This was a trick question because they both have 4 assists.
I don't even have a lot.
Yeah, no, neither of them. I mean, we said earlier, scored 16 goals for the Union and only 4 assists, so he's definitely more of an attacking midfielder.
Shooter's going to shoot kind of guy, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
I know. What a player. I mean, we wish we could have got that out of Marco Fabian, but sadly we did not. Here we go. Question number 2. True or false? Again, the regular season only. Elsinho has committed more fouls than fouls committed against him.
Say true.
It is indeed true. I was surprised by this. Like you said earlier, maybe it's just recency bias, but Elsinho has been fouled 68 times, while he's fouled opponents 70 times. So close and everything, but he's fouled more opponents than he's gotten fouled. So
he always fights back. If he loses that dribble, he always fights back for it, and that's where he gets caught up, I think.
Yeah. I remember that red card where he elbowed somebody in the face.
Yeah, Red Bulls player. Yep. Yep, he did indeed. Here we go, though. Question number 3 for you, Ed. True or false? Again, the regular season only. The most shots the Union have registered on goal is 15.
I'm going to say true.
It is indeed true. They did it last year against New England, and they had 13 of their shots in the second half. So and that's a game that the Union
That was
won
the game I was
6-1.
thinking. I thought it was that game.
Yeah, no, I mean, what a crazy game for the Union to win that game 6-1 and everything, and to be such a slow game. The Union, I believe, got scored on first in that game, and then they tied it up before half, and then Sergio Santos scores a brace. David Accam scores on that game. Everybody was scoring.
Yeah, that was a floodgates game.
It was indeed, and like you said, Ricky, that's probably one of the games that the Union counted as a sellout, and that game was nowhere close to being sold out.
It happens.
It does happen. Here we go. Question number 4, though, for you, Ed. True or false? The Union only recorded 2 clean sheets in 2010.
True.
It is indeed true. It came against Chicago, which was a 1-0 win for the Union, and then a 3-0 win against Chivas. And the last question for you, Ed. True or false? Connor Casey has 2 game-winning goals against New York Red Bulls.
True.
It is false. He has 1, which came in 2013, but he does have 4 goals against the Red Bulls, so not bad at all there, Ed. You went 4 for 5, almost perfect, and that gives you 6 points. And so now we're going to go to you, Ricky.
Awesome.
Here we go. Question number 1 for you. True or false? Again, the regular season only. CJ Sapong has more assists than Fafa Pico.
True.
It is indeed true. CJ has 14 assists while Fafa has 12. And again, I guess just recency bias. I felt like Fafa playing on the wing and everything. I thought he had more assists, but not according to the Union's website. Here we go, though. Question number 2. True or false? Again, the regular season only. Ali Bedoya has committed more fouls than Harris.
True.
It is indeed true.
I thought that was a straight trick question. I'm just sitting here like, don't go against type. Don't go against type.
Come on, you know Harris isn't catching up to attackers and everything, so he has no chance of fouling.
Yeah, he's pointing all the time. What else is he there for?
Exactly. For all you people listening, Harris has 61 fouls while Bedoya has 172, so not even close. Here we go. Question number 3 there, Ricky. True or false? The Union have allowed 55 goals in a season twice.
False.
It is unfortunately true. They did it in back-to-back seasons, which were in 2015 and 2016. But here we go. Question number 4. True or false? The Union had 8 clean sheets in 2012.
False.
Unfortunately, that is also true. They did that against Vancouver, Columbus, Chivas, Sporting KC, Toronto, Real Salt Lake, and New England twice. And the last question for you, Ricky. True or false? The Union spent 15 games in first place last year.
False.
That is, again, unfortunately true.
So I made the joke to myself. I was like, I'm just going to answer true to every single question. And then I second-guessed it, and I would have gotten 5 points.
You would have went 5 out of 5. I think you're the first person that I've gave all 5 true questions to. So
I was like, it's 50-50 every time, so I might as well just say true every time, and now whoever in the final needs to score half their points, they're going to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for all you people listening, that streak went on from June 2nd through August 31st against Atlanta. But here we go, guys. The final category, which Ricky, you went 2 for 4, so that gives you 4 points, and Ed, you have 6. So like always, it always comes down to this last category, which is name the Union player. So contestants will go head-to-head against each other in guessing the Union player I'm describing. I'll give 5 clues, and contestants can buzz in whenever they think they know the player. Contestants will buzz in by saying their own name. If a contestant answers the question incorrectly, that will freeze them out until the next question. Each question will be worth 3 points each. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here we go. Player number 1 is a midfielder. Hint number 2, joined the Union in 2013. Hint number 3, scored 2 goals in a minute against Seattle in 2013. Hint number 4, jersey number 44.
Ed.
Go ahead, Ed.
Danny Cruz.
It is indeed Danny Cruz, and obviously the last hint for that was first name Danny. But here we go, guys. Player number 2, again, is a midfielder. Hint number 2 is a DP. Hint number 3, scored in Toronto last year.
Ed.
Go ahead, Ed.
Bedoya.
It is not Bedoya, so sit back and get these last clues, Ricky. Hint number 4 is signed from Mets, and hint number 5, first name Jamiro.
It's Jameer Montero, and I'm really glad you said hit number 5 because I kept like blanking. I'm sitting here like I know, like he's the jersey I plan on buying for the new white jersey, but could not for the life of me.
Okay, so before we go into player number 3, I just want to say if anybody's listening who wants to buy a white home jersey off of soccer.com or the MLS store and everything, it is not this year's white jersey. It still says
Yeah,
so
I know. That's why I haven't bought it yet.
So it's a good thing to hold off, and hopefully, if the season, if we're ever able to get to the season.
I was waiting to go to a game to buy one because I bought the new home jersey at the kit launch, but still no new white jerseys available.
Yeah, I was able to get the new home jersey online, but you can't. That white one, it's a whole thing. You can't find it anywhere.
Yeah,
until we see it in person or on TV. Besides, well, I guess I did see it in person. I was in LA, wasn't I? Never mind. We'll move on.
You should have asked one of the players for the jersey. Then you would have had one.
I tried to. Yeah. But by the time I got to field level, they were all like gone, and they were like talking to like their friends that lived in LA, and I was just like. I didn't try to like go up to them and like get one of their jerseys. I tried to have like a conversation with one of them because I think like Ray was talking to like his whole family or friends and stuff, and I was just like standing there like, "Yo, I'm here."
Yeah, I'm one of the 5 fans that traveled to Los Angeles. But here we go. Player number 3 is a forward. Hint number 2 has played for 6 MLS clubs. Hint number 3 played briefly for Lorient in League 2.
Ed?
Go ahead, Ed.
Connor Casey?
It is not Connor Casey. And hint number 4 for you, Ricky. Inducted in the Union Ring of Honor in 2018 and first name Sebastian.
Sebastian Letou.
It is indeed Sebastian Letou. Ed, I mean, I love when you buzz in fast and everything.
He played for 6 teams. Jeez.
Yeah, I should have wrote him down and everything. He played for Red Bull, not Toronto, Vancouver, Seattle.
He played for
DC, and the Union. So there it is.
Yeah, the Union would take him away 7 times. He wouldn't have had as many.
Yeah, I mean, we could spend a whole episode on that, but maybe another day. So here we go, though. Player number 4 is a defender. Played 4 games for Portuguese club Benfica. Hint number 3, played 1 season for the Union. Hint number 3, scored against Toronto in 2015. And hint number 5, first name Steven.
Ed.
Go ahead,
Ed.
Vittoria?
It is indeed Steven Vittoria.
I should have known on the Portugal question, but I kept thinking Conceição, and then I was just like thinking like, who's the other guy? Because I know it's not Conceição.
Yeah, so no pressure and everything, but I believe if Ricky gets this last question right, he'll win by 1. If Ed gets this right, well, Ed, you're coming away in 3rd place. No pressure at all, though. So here we go, though. The last player, hint number 1, is a midfielder. Hint number 2, jersey number 30. Hint number 3, scored 2 goals in 2014 for the Union. They came against New York Red Bulls and Sporting Kansas City. Hint number 4 is a Brazilian. And hint number 5, first name Pedro.
Ed.
Sorry, that was just Ed. Sorry.
Pedro Ribeiro?
It is indeed Pedro Ribeiro. And Ed, like I said earlier, this is a game that neither of you guys want to be a part of. But Ed, you come away in 3rd place with 15 points in the last game. And Ricky came away with 10 points. And like it did earlier in one of your games, between Scott, Ricky, both of you guys buzzing similarly. And Ricky, unfortunately, weren't fast enough to get that last question. But you guys kept it interesting. And we could have went on for an hour talking about some of these topics and everything. And but congratulations, Ed, for getting 3rd place. So,
yeah, thanks, Todd. This whole tournament's been a lot of fun, and it's fun talking to people. People I usually just talk to on Twitter. I hope to do the podcast again, just with maybe me, you, and whoever. But maybe not in a trivia style, but just talking.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, soccer. Yeah, definitely.
But Ricky followed back. I checked my phone. We're best friends now. There's no smack talk. He's my boy. He's taking me to LA next time he goes to see the Union.
I definitely don't think that's going to happen because it's going to be a while till I go to LA again.
I actually went years ago when Chivas was still there, and the Union played LA and Chivas like back to back, like in the same week. And my sister used to live out there, and I went out to both games. It was a blast. And that was when Danny Califf had already been done playing and moved out there. He came out and like hung out with everybody.
That's an awesome time. I was going to say, though, I think I remember, Ricky, before the season started, and a whole bunch of Union fans were talking about what away game they wanted to go to. So they wanted to go to Colorado, I believe it was. So if you want to go.
Yeah. We were doing like this whole conversation at the beginning of the year about stuff. And Colorado was one of the games I was definitely thinking about going. But then it just sort of happened that I had with my new job, I have a certain amount of days, and I was just sitting there looking at March being like, you know what? Colorado sounds like fun. I can probably make that just a weekend trip because work during the week, go on the weekend, take off from my second job. But then I just sat there and was like, you know what? 4 days in LA in March just sounds fantastic. And I was hoping to hit some other games this year. That doesn't seem like it's happened, but I guess I'm saving money for next year's trips.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think anything. Well, I guess a playoff, winning L of the MLS Cup could top that. But that game against LAFC, I don't know. It doesn't get much better than that.
Pretty good.
Absolutely. And I was going to say something earlier too, but I've completely forgot what I was going to say to you, Ricky. But I mean, both of you guys are more than welcome to come on to the podcast. I'm definitely going to have you both on, especially I know you follow the U.S. men's team really close, Ricky, and everything, and that's something that I am not an expert in at all and everything. So I definitely want to get your insight on just what's going on with the men's team and everything, and I'll definitely be having you both on.
if we want to have a real fun conversation, we can talk about later. Zach Steffen basically just threatened not to play for the U.S. if this whole current conversation that we're having doesn't go well.
Yeah, I think he said he feels safer in Germany. That was the tweet I saw, or the quote I saw.
Essentially, it was, and I don't mean to hijack the end of this episode, but it was essentially unless things are comfortable for people, and he just doesn't feel like it's a good idea to represent the country like that. And honestly, I'm kind of at the point where I'm just I feel you, bro, and I felt you for a while, bro, but don't want to make this a political podcast.
I got you, and I appreciate it. So I definitely appreciate that. But that is a good conversation. If Zach Steffen decide he doesn't want to play goalkeeper anymore for the U.S., you're absolutely right. That could be a.
Of course, he would also have to not be hurt to play for us. So
there's that too. But why don't you guys go ahead and tell everybody for the final time until I have you guys both back on the podcast where they can find you on social media.
Ricky, you go first.
You can find me Ricky Rondo on Twitter, and then I post as has been said on here before, I post a lot of Instagram pictures of me either at 1 soccer games or 2 theme parks, and that's Ricky_Rondo.
What? I haven't seen the theme parks. What's the deal with the theme parks?
So I was a huge Roller Coaster Tycoon kid as a fan, so that meant that while I was afraid of going on the roller coasters, as a child, I really got into the idea of them. And then more recently, I've grown up, as they say, and can actually go on roller coasters. So when I went to LA, I hit up Magic Mountain, I hit up Knott's Berry Farm. I have, season passes to everything that's around here, like Six Flags and Hershey Park. So
that's awesome.
That's essentially my life is that in video games. And recently it's only been video games because
quarantine.
Yeah. I'm at Buzzkill Ed on Twitter. Ricky follows me, so that makes me a pretty big deal. I've also been playing a lot of video games. I can be found on PlayStation at the same screen name at Buzzkill_Ed. What else was I going to? Oh, my band. We might not exist anymore. I think we still do. But if you're just looking for pregame drinking Union music, Dive in the Box on Spotify, Dive in the Box on Bandcamp, DIVE in the Box, BOX. We're just soccer punks.
No SoundCloud?
Do we? I don't know. I don't know about that. I'll get back to the SoundCloud link.
Okay. Yeah.
We're Union fans in a band. It's a lot of soccer punk, drink punk, whatever.
If you're gonna try to be Twitter famous, you have to have a SoundCloud. That's what I've learned from the kids.
Yeah, we don't have a mixtape yet either. We're still working on the mixtape thing, but we do have Spotify. You can get on that.
Yeah, I found you on Spotify.
Have you covered Dupe yet?
We have not covered Dupe yet. We should do that. Why have we not done that? It's
Just
kind
do
of
an A side and a B side. A side is Dupe. B side is You'll Never Walk Alone. Millions of dollars. There you go.
We considered doing like the Addicts version of You'll Never Walk Alone, but I'm the only Liverpool fan in the band, so
That's
the other
probably a
guys
good
don't
thing.
care.
It is indeed, Ricky. It is indeed a good thing that he's the only one. But I was going to say, Ed, maybe I should have, played your music and everything and brought you on. But then again, I don't want to get sued. But I don't know if you're giving me your permission to play your
You
music.
have free reign to use any of our stuff for background music, intro music, anything. Dive in the Box, Spotify. Relegation Battle was the most recent album. That's the only one that I play on. The two before that were different lineups. I was added late because they kicked somebody out of the band.
Real soccer team stuff going on.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I was a mid-season signing.
Were you a DP signing?
Yes. Compared to the band, yes, definitely DP signing.
Ooh, some shade thrown in his own band.
Oh man, gotta love it. Well, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, Michael and Rich can give me this kind of content for the first place game and everything. Because if not, then maybe I should say, yeah, you guys played for the first place game. They played for the third place and everything. Because I've loved this. This is like the most open anybody has been. So
stab them in the back at the end. Just be like, you know what? Changed my mind. You guys didn't win the last game. We're gonna give it to Ricky and Ed. Teamwork, makes the dream work.
Absolutely. But if you're not following the podcast,
yeah, we should just crash we'll just crash the next broadcast.
Yeah, I'll send you
Four-way
guys.
battle for the championship.
So I've thought about, I'll just go into it right now. I mean, then I'll close myself out. Like I've thought about if people enjoy this and everything, bringing it back and everything sometime, at the end of this season and everything, bring it back and potentially have teams of two and everything. I don't know how that would work and everything, but have two teams of two and everything. One person decides how I answer this category.
We should do, and this is a crazy idea, a live Jeopardy version of this.
Yes.
Have it before games or something, and have it be like these three this week, these three next week, and then at the end of the season, last game of the season, we have like these are your three at the end. And I'm only saying this because Jeopardy is my favorite TV show of all time. Now that I think about it,
I'm a big Jeopardy fan too. I like that format, and anything live after all this, not hopefully a year from now we can do a live thing and it won't be like in masks. So I like the idea.
What did you say? I can't hear you. This is everything I hear at work every day now that I'm back at work. It's just like, what?
Unfortunately, that is true. But yeah, guys, I mean, I appreciate you guys saying, yeah, I'll come back, play the third place game and everything. I mean, it's not first place, but I'll come back and everything. And I've enjoyed you guys being on throughout this whole tournament and everything. And like I said earlier, you guys are both welcome back on the podcast at a later date. And if you guys aren't following the podcast on social media, follow it at Free Kick Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, which nobody uses Facebook, even though people started following the page on Facebook, but that's besides the point. And you can find the website at The Free Kick Podcast, and wherever you get your podcast, just search The Free Kick and search for my name if that doesn't pop up, which is Todd Lewis. But again, congratulations, Ed, for finishing third place, and thank you guys for both coming back on. And with that said, my name is Todd, and this is The Free Kick Podcast.